Legislation calls for $14 trillion. President Biden's schedule revealed. Patriot missile system damage. So U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen continues to sound the alarm on the debt limit, and a group of Senate Democrats are doing the exact same thing by calling on President Biden to invoke the 14th Amendment to avoid a default if ongoing negotiations with Republicans fall apart. Now, we're going to hear from both sides later, as I personally don't think that we're getting any closer to seeing a deal get done. News is coming out that White House staffers aren't very happy with the president's schedule. Not that it's grueling or anything like that, but that he doesn't want to work anywhere before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m., making their jobs a lot harder. However, MSNBC says that President Biden is the hardest working president that they've seen. Something doesn't make sense here. Is working 6 hours a day the hardest a president has ever worked? Anyway, so Russia has successfully hit our Patriot missile defense system in the Ukraine, and even though initial reports have said that the damage was extensive, the U.S. has come out to say that the system is still operational and that it doesn't have to be removed from the battlefield to be repaired. Ukraine recently fired 30 of them, costing taxpayers $120 million. Now, it also seems like we weren't supposed to know about this incident if it were not for the Ukrainian citizens and the civilians who managed to take videos of this particular attack and they posted them online. Sadly, these people may face jail time as authorities in Ukraine say that this was illegal. Wow, really? Spreading the truth is all of a sudden illegal? Representative Cori Bush introduced new legislation that wants $14 trillion to be awarded to Black Americans as reparations. Is this reparation thing for Black people really taking off? She sees it as a way for the federal government to atone to the practice of slavery in the past. Question is, how does she expect to come up with $14 trillion? No time to waste, guys. Let's jump into this. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote, link in the description down below. Never be caught off guard by another very expensive home repair again. So I got a question for you guys. Like, what time do you get up for work? Now, I know that my sleep schedule is kind of messed up because, I need to work pretty much whenever I see updates within our country that affects us. So I really can't give you a specific time. I pretty much never sleep, honestly. I just stay up. But seriously, what about you guys? I'm pretty sure I'm bound to see how some of you guys wake up by 5 a.m., 6 a.m. for your 8 a.m. job, or maybe even earlier, which is why I can understand the supposed frustration from the White House staffers who are saying that the president only wants to work between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So that's basically like a 30-hour work week at max. Would you prefer to have that? I guess most of us would, right? But what's really weird is that Mika Brzezinski of MSNBC doesn't seem to be aware of this.
President Biden keeps up a brutal schedule. There is no question that there is a tremendous difference, and this is understating it incredibly, between the amount of work that he puts in a day compared to former President Trump and his executive time.
Right.
Biden and Dr. Jill Biden, they are very giving of themselves. They show up at everything. They give their time. And I mean, it's part of his kindness. It's part of his political instincts. And that's going to be something that they really want to look at as the campaign heats up and the schedule gets even more brutal, if that's possible. But anyone looking at Joe Biden and seeing what he does in a day, I mean, I know you would be exhausted if you had his schedule and probably would take some days off, or I would.
What do you guys think? Do any of you want a 30-hour work week? Is that brutal? Or have you had worse? I guess if you're hourly, you don't necessarily want less hours. Anyway, so contrary to initial reports, the U.S. Patriot defense missile system only took minor damage following a Russian missile attack near Kiev and a recent barrage that had the system shoot out 30 missiles. Now, according to officials, the system is intact and it's operational, especially with its radar or one of its most important elements not being damaged. Now, that's really good news for the Ukraine, as they definitely need this system to protect all of these missiles attacks from Russia. Now, the bad news is that it seems like nobody was supposed to even know about the damage that it took to our equipment. But since some civilians had social media accounts, smartphones, they took pictures, they took videos and shared it online, and basically the news broke out. But here's even worse news. It looks as if exposing the truth can land you in some kind of hot water over there. Ukrainian officials have made at least 6 arrests in connection to posting these videos online. So I guess posting to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok might get you put in jail, at least if you're over in the Ukraine. Now, with these civilians facing up to 8 years in prison if found guilty of violating laws prohibiting unauthorized dissemination of Ukrainian military operations and equipment. So what are your thoughts on that? And why are they afraid to share this this information if it's true, unless it would conflict with the lies that they've been telling us. Now, the cost of each missile of the Patriot system is around $4 million, meaning that with this alone, $120 million was just used up. Now, not straying away from talking about money, Representative Cori Bush has introduced a brand new bill that's calling for federal government to give $14 trillion in reparations to Black Americans. According to her, quote, "The United States has a moral and legal obligation to provide reparations to the enslavement of Africans and its lasting harm on the lives of millions of Black people. America must provide reparations if we desire a prosperous future for all." End quote. Any thoughts on this, guys? Now, here's my question. How is this going to be funded? I mean, seriously, like, will it be through taxpayer money? I'm just wondering where this money's going to come from. $14 trillion, it's a lot of money. And since we're already talking about producing cash, how about we get an update on the debt limit, right? So here's what President Biden had to say about it.
We had a productive meeting yesterday, and with all four leaders in the Congress. It was civil and respectful, and everyone came to the meeting, I think, in good faith. I'm confident that we'll get the agreement on the budget, that America will not default. And every leader in the room understands the consequences if we fail to pay our bills. And it would be catastrophic for the American economy and the American people if we didn't pay our bills.
Biden continues to say that America is not a deadbeat nation and that we will pay our bills. Now, the problem is that many people don't think that a deal can be set in place, especially with how Republicans have talked about these meetings.
You know what I told the president 105 days ago when I sat in the Oval Office? I have no preconceived notion of what we have to do in the debt ceiling except two things. We're not going to raise taxes, and we're not going to pass a clean debt ceiling. But we have to spend less than we spent the last year. So let's sit down and talk about that. But he decided, no, I shouldn't negotiate with somebody. I'm just going to do what I want to do, my way or the highway. That's not the way our government is designed to work. It's not the way business works. It's not the way your household works. And it's not going to work here either.
With the possibility of default, a group of U.S. Senate Democrats headed by independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who caucuses with them, sent a letter to President Biden. In this letter, it says this, quote, "We write to urgently request that you prepare to exercise your authority under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which clearly states the validity of the public debt of the United States shall not be questioned. Using this authority would allow the United States to continue to pay its bills on time without delay, preventing a global catastrophe." End quote. Are they trying to accelerate the next Great Depression 2.0? I mean, what are your thoughts on all this, guys? Make sure to hit me up in the comment section down below. Now, while the United States may possibly default on its debt soon, a lot of Americans are also delinquent on credit card debt, missing rent, mortgage payments, car possessions up for grabs with repossessions down the line. Now, I wish people could see what's going on around them. Now, see in the comments how some people are having a tough time trying to get by. More people want to invest in their 401ks. More people want to invest in the stock market, but their income's being zapped at the grocery stores. But at the same time, I've been getting more and more questions asking about how to learn about how to slowly fix your financial troubles, like how to get new skills, how to get started in small businesses. How do you start a side hustle for the first time? What are some good home-based business ideas? I get it. And I've also been getting questions about investments and opportunities in the stock market, in the real estate market, not to mention investments in gold and silver. So I'm going to bring more information to you guys on these subjects. I appreciate you guys hitting me up in the comments. Now, before I go, guys, don't forget to leave a comment. Also, share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you on the next one.